That was early Donald Trump at an NRA meeting, telling Wayne LaPierre, he's very grateful for the endorsement, and he's going to do whatever. And then downshifting into it's a rigged election. Everything is rigged, and she's not equipped to be president. And, everything he says other people are doing is, in fact, what Donald Trump turns out to be doing. So if we want to audit the vote in 3 states, and it's not just us that want, it's not just me that wants to audit, or Jill Stein that want, in order to audit the vote in Pennsylvania, you'd have to file with the court and all that. And I'm reading the Pennsylvania application, and of course in Pennsylvania, in order to get the recount approved by the court, you have to have at least 100 verified voters complaining that they were either forced to vote in a non-traditional way, provisional, or that they voted absentee and they don't see their vote being counted on the, tally, whatever it is. So she's got 100 other people who are verified voters who are saying to the court, we got a problem, blah, blah, blah. But it's so interesting that early in this whole thing, Donald Trump was so sure he was going to win. He was so sure of everything. And he is the most ill-equipped, most conflicted, like all the crap he said about Hillary not being able to, she's ill-equipped to be president. She doesn't have the judgment. I mean, what has he done? He's appointed 2 cabinet members so far out of 15. I mean, the guy is like so completely lost. He has absolutely no clue what needs to be done or who it should be that does it. The vote obviously was not on the up and up, and that's why we want to audit the vote and just make sure that the next time, for God's sake, we can vote on freaking paper ballots that we know get counted, because as they get counted, let them input it into a database where you can check. Make sure your vote was counted. What is wrong with that? It's the most important thing that we do is vote. It's the only day all power is equalized. The richest man and the poorest man have the same amount of power. Or not. And so, like I said, at the beginning when she said she was going to recount, I was like, okay, whatever. It's a good idea to make sure that the vote has, integrity, and to make sure that we don't vote on these stupid machines anymore that leave no paper trail. How ridiculous all this is. But the more apoplectic, the crazier Donald Trump got on his Twitter, in his Twitter storm. It's a storm, I tell you. It's a tsunami. It's an earthquake mixed with Hurricane Otto slamming into Central America, which never happens. Except now that the climate is changing and the path of storms are changing because the upper atmosphere is changing, now it does. But that's what it was. I mean, the more he went crazy, the more I was like, let's do this. Just because it makes him angry. Just because it makes him look stupid. I mean, he's such an embarrassment. He's so ill-equipped to be president. The conflicts of interest, I mean, I can't tell you how many newspaper articles there are in front of me. I mean, they're all over here. First of all, David Petraeus for Secretary of State, isn't he a felon? He can't even vote. I mean, what is that? David Petraeus, who pled guilty to a felony. You know what the felony was? He gave classified briefing. Oh, my God. He gave information regarding the identities of covert officers, our war strategy, our intelligence capabilities, our mechanisms for doing intelligence, diplomatic discussions, quotes, deliberative discussions from high-level National Security Council meetings. I mean, and his conversations with the President of the United States. That's what David Petraeus gave his lover, who had no security clearance. She was writing a freaking bio. And they fell in love, and she wanted this information, God knows why, and he freaking gave it to her in a show of machismo or some weird crap. And so he pled guilty. The whole time he's saying, Hillary and her emails, she divulged classified information. No, she didn't. But even if there were 3 emails with a little C embedded in the email, first of all, that's not how classified information is labeled and categorized. It's got a big red stamp on it. Need to know, classified, secret, top secret, no foreign eyes. It says no 4 eyes. Okay? And she didn't do any of what he said she did, but his pick for Secretary of State not only did it, but pled guilty to it, and now works at a private equity firm. Drain the swamp? Are you freaking kidding me? Everything he said Hillary did, David Petraeus did. All the rigging was done by Chris Kobach, who's now going to be our Homeland Security guy? Really? Some freaking lawyer from Kansas? I mean, this makes Brownie look like he is doing a heck of a job. This is ridiculous stuff. You know that. This is crazy. But the more you see Donald Trump and the more you see his picks and the more you see how conflicted he is with all this, didn't you think, you people who voted for him, honestly, it's just between you and me right now. It's just you and me, and I see you. Didn't you think that he really wanted to put his business in a blind trust so that he could be a public servant and put America first? Oh, did you get played?